that we were talking about earlier today.
Caitlin Clark, by the way, absolutely silenced everybody yesterday. The woke media was all on her. I hate to even mention this complete jackass. Jamel Hill and others were all in her business. It's white privilege. She hits these threes. Man, I don't give a damn if it's white, black, or green privilege. Jamel Hill, she blames the media for covering Caitlin Clark. She's tremendous on television. What a missed opportunity for the national media to really evaluate who she was as a person. Why? Whereas it feels like our black athletes get the same amount of coverage, whereas for black athletes to get the same amount of coverage or even fair coverage, there has to be something extra beyond basketball. No. You choose to do that. You don't need anything extra.
What if I told you that Twitter had transformed the WNBA into a daytime soap opera? Because now Hill is using the R word as if it were a Naluk pass, and Caitlin Clark somehow became the antagonist in a narrative with leaked video showing Rhyne Howard and Side Eyes getting ready to face off. Is it a Bravo reunion or basketball? This story has more turns than a crossing in overtime, so get ready.
Jamel Hill. The fact that she believes that Caitlin Clark is receiving more coverage than a lot of the other black players. I don't like that Jamel Hill said this. I feel like she's always looking for an excuse to race bait. That's her whole identity, and I just don't like this. Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. She is just that good. She's setting all types of records, scoring, assists. I mean, she is incredible. So she deserves the amount of coverage.
The 4K Ultra High Definition Gladiator Cage match between Indiana Fever's star attraction and Atlanta Dream's Rhyne Howard is coming up just when you thought the WNBA couldn't add any more drama to Caitlin Clark's rookie season without it blowing up like a soda can in a microwave. This is because, apparently, no one plays basketball anymore. It's just low-budget Game of Thrones in gym shorts.
Quarters. Well, guess what? One of the master race baiters from the world of sports, if you still want to say she's involved in the world of sports, is back at it again. I'm talking about Jamel Hill, who is one of the integral reasons why Around the Horn no longer exists on ESPN.
Let's see who can slam's most recent episode. The voice of reason and composure chose to hold a polite, considerate conversation about it after Caitlin Clark, without getting ejected, broadcast live from a hardwood floor someplace in America and online. They were joking when they set it on fire and threw it into a volcano.
One person that's been definitely weighing in on this Caitlin Clark drama has been Jamel Hill. This is season 2 of Caitlin Clark and the Fever, and now we have a new Jamel Hill rant. She is one person that's been pretty vocal about everything. The Angel Reese situation, now this Rhyne Howard thing, which I thought was not a big deal whatsoever. Reported on it yesterday. She did kind of get into Caitlin Clark's head, kind of psyched her out. I believe that's why Caitlin Clark played so bad. But some new footage has emerged of the incident.
"I'm not scared of you, and you in Atlanta" is the now famous line that was caught on mic, or perhaps just lip-read, by 47 million internet sleuths and their cats. It started with a casual sideline encounter where Rhyne Howard decided to go full Secret Service detail on Caitlin, pressing her as though she was trying to extract state secrets.
Got Caitlin Clark taking it back, and you can see the hold there. Then Rhyne Howard doesn't like that. And there's some words between the two players as Naz Hillman quickly comes over and gets her bestie out of the scuffle.
Which, in case you were wondering, is essentially the WNBA equivalent of slapping someone across the face with a velvet glove in 18th century French pistols at dawn. Just when the smoke had cleared from that heated exchange, Jamel Hill entered the fray with all the subtlety of a wrecking ball dipped in lighter fluid. Hill claims that everyone should calm down because this is just competition, the same type of competition that calls for body checks, purposeful bumps, and the occasional psychological battle.
We're going to be talking about something that was an interesting one. It was a really, really interesting one, and it was the kind of interactions between Rhyne Howard and Caitlin Clark. And if we're going to be honest, Rhyne Howard 100% got the better. Rhyne Howard, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, got the better of Caitlin Clark today on both ends of the floor. But these were some hilarious responses. So Caitlin Clark and Rhyne Howard get into it here. So Rhyne Howard he was fouling Caitlin Clark the whole game and is going into Caitlin Clark coming back to Rhyne Howard. "I'm not scared of you."
Apparently, Caitlin Clark isn't being targeted, she's just experiencing character development. Sure, if by character development you mean being elbowed in the kidneys every other possession and being guarded like she stole someone's lunch money, but don't worry. This isn't about race, except wait, now it kind of is, because Hill strongly hinted that Clark's popularity and the protectiveness around her might have undertones racial ones, because obviously the only reason people are concerned that Clark is getting mugged mid-dribble is because she's white, not because she's, say, the face of a league that desperately needs eyeballs and is being tackled like a running back every night. Of course, Hill fans applauded her take, nodding along like she just cured WNBA Twitter of its collective sinus infection. Meanwhile, actual sports fans who have watched Clark get harassed like she's a mosquito at a barbecue started questioning if Hill was watching the same league or just throwing darts at hot takes written using a crayon.
I have to talk about this. The post from Brittany Griner. And one thing I don't understand is that, like, there is some kind of flimsy evidence, I guess. Like, we're not lip readers. We're not lip readers. She probably says trash. Like, it sounds like she has said. It looks like what it apparently says is effing white.
Let's take a moment to discuss the completely insane world we all live in. Caitlin Clark may be the only player in the world to score 30 points and still be blamed for breathing too loudly close to another player. Additionally, if you believe that this is just a case of players using WWE moves out of character, consider the plays that some of these coaches are creating, such as, "Okay, Amber, you full court press her until she questions her life choices. Jada, I want you to accidentally hip check her into the third row and mean you're on eyebrow duty, intimidating scowls only." The plan is straightforward. If you stop Caitlin Clark, you stop the entire Indiana Fever, and you might even get 5 seconds on Sports Center before they switch back to LeBron's summer workout montage. But let's be clear, this isn't tough defense. It's an exorcism in disguise. In July, players are swiping at her like she's a mosquito, and then she's tangled in someone's limbs like she's in a scene from Mission Impossible Elbow Protocol.
That should be celebrated, and it's because of Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it Caitlin Clark. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it fucked up. Caitlin Clark is the reason why a lot of great things is going to happen for the WNBA. What's your opinion if they want your opinion, man, early on, because everybody is looking for you to say anything, and they're going to splice it and cut it and make it a negative thing. And I think for her, the one thing that I love that she's bringing to her sport, more people want to watch. More people want to tune in. I saw for the first time that they had a chartered plane.
However, each time a player is checked into next week, the media reacts with a loud, meh, that's just basketball. Actually, I played basketball, so I never had to think about donning a mouthguard to keep from biting my own tongue when I was in a headlock. Nothing screams normal basketball contact like walking into someone's back at the speed of sound for no other reason than pure hostility. It wasn't defense. It was pent-up Twitter rage the musical, and now it's Rhyne Howard's turn. The situation has gotten so bad that Caitlin probably looks under her bed for defenders before going to sleep. The icing on the cake on this fiery Sunday is yet another episode and chapter about how to act like this is simply a hustle when it's actually a mugging. In essence, Jamal Hill is telling fans, calm down peasants. This is how competition works. It's not targeted, it's not excessive, it's just spirited aggression wrapped in an embrace of animosity. By retweeting the video and lecturing everyone as if she were the WNBA Supreme Court. The league's most recognizable player is being continuously targeted by Clark, who is out there getting cross-cheated as though she owes someone child support. But don't worry, it's just intensity. She's even wearing a jersey that reads, "Please tackle me, I enjoy it." Every other player would be Caitlin Clark's nasty stepsister, attempting to push her down the stairs and steal her shoes if she were a Disney princess. But
it was a rough night for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Last night, she only scored 3 points in a blowout loss to the New York Liberty. But it was a game on Saturday between the Fever and the Chicago Sky that had a lot of people talking. Fans were so hyped for Caitlin, Angel Reese, and Camila Cardoso to all be back on the same court. However, the moment that made headlines, this right here, the hard foul involving Clark and Kennedy.
Kay and the WNBA leadership, they're doing a fantastic job standing up for player safety. By fantastic, I mean they're hiding under their desks, praying the ratings don't drop if Clark decides to play overseas next season, where rumor has it basketball is actually played with, get this, rules. And let's talk about the league's leadership one more time, shall we? Where is the WNBA commissioner on vacation meditating in a soundproof tank? Because while Caitlin Clark is out here being treated like she's trying to cross enemy lines, the top brass is missing action. If you listen closely, you can actually hear the silence of leadership in Dolby Atmos. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Well, she asked for it. She's popular. Oh, okay. So being famous means it's open season. That's the logic. Now better tell Beyonce to watch out for elbow drops at her next concert. Clark didn't crown herself the face of the WNBA. The league did, the networks did, the fans did. And now she's being treated like she tried to cheat on American gladiators. She's become the Hunger Games tribute of women's basketball.
Fouled out at 6, and it was the ticky-tack fouls, and again, Caitlin Clark doing a little bit of an acting job. Not sure if that was actually a foul, but again, that's for the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier.
He's literally driven so many eyeballs to the game. Like they ain't flying commercial, they're flying charter. They're going to make more money. They're playing on ESPN consistently. People are actually talking about it. Now they talk about it through the vein of Caitlin Clark. You're never going to hear a topic on ESPN discussed that doesn't involve Caitlin Clark somehow, most likely.
And let's not overlook the fact that this plan to beat her into submission is most likely the worst one since Cats was rebooted. You think it will work in the long run, but spoiler alert, it won't, because if Caitlin Clark gets hurt or worse, walks away, then congratulations. You just lost your golden goose and sent her to the EuroLeague, where she will be scoring 50 points per game while sipping espresso and being defended with actual basketball skills. This is where the WNBA should be extremely concerned, because Clark will take millions of fans with her, the same fans who finally discovered the WNBA to be engaging, marketable, and interesting, the same fans who purchase tickets, jerseys, and ESN Plus subscriptions just to watch her get slammed like it's WrestleMania Rookie Edition. While trying to promote a double overtime nail-biter between Connecticut and Chicago that receives fewer views than a cooking tutorial for toast, the WNBA will be left wondering where all the cameras went if she leaves. Look, this isn't about protecting Clark because she's a princess. It's about not normalizing assault as a defensive tactic. This isn't hockey. You don't have to fight someone every time they make a three-pointer.
Caitlin Clark's treatment by other players on the court is just getting to be egregious. Because as we saw Trinity Carter, she hip-checked Caitlin Clark from behind, at the same time calling her the B word. You could see Angel Reese over on the sideline cheering. This is treatment that Caitlin Clark is receiving for very specific reasons. I think we really need to focus on the race part of all of this, because I do believe that if Caitlin Clark were this amazing and she were not white, nobody would have an issue with it. They probably would be propping her up, celebrating her greatness. And another question that I keep asking myself when reading the coverage on this is what would happen if the roles were reversed?
Although Clark is a professional athlete and should be challenged, there is a distinction between a competitive fire and a full-fledged vendetta. What we're seeing now isn't defense, it's a contact sport plus a personal grudge minus the whistles. And you know what the most ironic part is? Clark probably doesn't even want the protection. She's out there playing her guts out, not flopping for sympathy, but that doesn't mean she should be used as a punching bag for every frustrated guard with a chip on her shoulder and a Twitter beef to settle the saddest part of all. I can't even imagine this is fun for her anymore. Every game feels like it's just a countdown to the next incident, the next altercation, the next ridiculous hot take about how she brings it on herself. It's absurd. The players are acting like they're being paid per shove. The coaches are acting like Sun Tzu wrote their playbook, and the league is acting like it'll all just sort itself out once the playoffs roll around. Newsflash, it won't, not unless the WNBA grows a spine, disciplines the nonsense, and starts treating its stars like assets instead of cannon fodder.
One other thing I did want to talk about was a commentary where it was slightly adversarial, kind of to the viewer and a little bit, I would say, to the WNBA. They were pounding heavy that this is how the women want to be treated. Unrivaled has gone above and beyond with the amenities for the players, down to having estheticians there. Of course, they have childcare options. They have, the gym, for complete first-class facilities in every aspect. And this has been, something that the players have really celebrated, and it seems like it's a directive from, the league,